I'm going to show you what the provider is seeing. In this case, before I get into the group therapy session, I just want to show you a quick screen now. This would be a virtual med management visit. Very simple technologically, nothing fancy here. We're just connecting the patient and the provider via video, and they can conduct their virtual sessions. So this is basically saying the group session is going to start in a couple of minutes. Now you can see the 10 participants there on the left. Those little blue shaded areas are people that are in the waiting room, so they're already in the session, waiting for the session to begin. And then on the right is some text, and this is a transcript of the previous session. So we have speech to text running all the way through the session. So the therapist in this case can review her notes from the last meeting and anything that she wants to remind herself of as she enters into this meeting. So the session starts, and here we are. So here's the Hollywood Squares set up in a little bit of a different configuration. And you can see a couple of things right away. Here's our therapist over here. Here's our 10 participants. We notice that Simon here hasn't checked in. So there's an auto text that's gone out to Simon already saying, "Where are you?" And there's also a text that's gone out to the member advocate indicating that Simon isn't here, and the member advocate now is on you, trying to figure out where you are, what's going on, are you late, are you going to participate, do we need to reschedule, what's happening with you. So again, we don't want anybody falling out if at all possible. A couple other things that are going on here is we can see that red box around Maggie. So she's starting the session in a bad place. So that's something that the therapist can quickly note. Can also see that David is also experiencing some anxiety. So this is something that she can attend to right away. Everybody else is coming into the session in a good place. Over here on the right, we have texting capability for any of the individual session members and the therapist to be able to text privately during the session. So now our therapist wants to know what's going on with Maggie. So she can click into that box, and that's what she'll see. But we can see this dial here. This is again with our AI tools running, facial recognition, voice recognition tools running. We can see level of engagement, in this case 80%. We can see level of anxiety. We can see level of depression. So in Maggie's case, these numbers would be, flaring red. They would be way over on the right side of the scale. So she can see what's happening there. She can see, has Maggie been clean? Did she have a clean toxicology? There's an indicator up there on that. And then finally, text messaging running here on the right between her and Maggie, if there's any opportunity to do that. Along here is a timeline that shows you the audio and the video. So if there's something happening in the session that the therapist is not able to get to, when she goes back after the session to take a look, she can go back to the exact point in the session, text-wise or video-wise, and see exactly where, John or Sally melted down that she wasn't able to get to in that particular moment, and follow up with that patient over the course of the next few days. So every day the therapist is doing a touch with every single one of these patients on her panel, and she's in a position now, a much more informed position than she would be otherwise, to know exactly what happened and to be able to follow up on that. So now our session has ended. Therapist is going to go into this particular session that she just ended. And now she's got her notes that she's captured during the course of the session up at the top of the screen, and down at the bottom are all the participants of the session, and she needs to complete case notes for them, just make basic notes. On this particular screen, you can see it kind of summarizes a particular patient, and it shows you what their mood was during the session. You can see in this case, not good. And then finally, this is indicating where they are in the completion of their documentation. When the documentation is completed, the claim is automatically generated. So the CMS 1500 is generated by our system and is sent directly to the payer. And then we're paying the therapist after the fact. So all of that is auto-generated. What we're trying to do is to optimize clinical time and minimize administrative time. So everything is in here on a workflow basis. There's really nothing to think about. Just go in, do your work, get it done, claim goes out, you get paid.